of Educational Testing for Access and Placement started as the Alternative Admissions Research Project. So its basis has been in developing tests for educational purposes.
We are located in CHED, which is the Centre for Higher Educational Development at UCT. This centre is actually involved in testing learners who come into university, and we do various other tests.
What we saw in the 1980s was the opportunity for black students to start being admitted into the historically white universities, and that's really where this came about, because the question was, what would it take to identify the students who would be able to benefit from a UCT education and to make the admissions process fairer and more efficient. And hence the development of the whole of the ARP project, that is the Alternative Admissions Research Project. The key goal was to identify students who had potential to do better than they had done in the past.
But post-2008, the universities decided to use another test in which to test students coming into university, and this is when the National Benchmark Test was born.
The demand was so big and the testing operation was so large that we had to move into a much more clearly standardized testing format, rather like the American SATs.
The tests are educational tests, and these are tests that are used for teachers to develop their teaching strategies and learners to adapt their learning strategies to ensure that they achieve the best results possible.
What we do is our test development team actually do the development of the tests. And from there, it's then distributed through our logistics department.
We have 25 sessions a year, and the cycle starts in May to January the following year. 25 sessions within that period, and within that period we test about 85,000 writers, and that is growing. We have an invigilation team of 600 nationally. We also have many special accommodation writers, and that section for us is growing.
We make use of lecturers, first-year lecturers across the sector to develop items. These items are put into tests, and these tests are administered across the whole South African context.
The National Benchmark Test is very important in terms of ensuring that it is securely written in a secure place, secure venue, and that the students understand that this test is not available online. So it's a pencil paper test.
It is multiple choice, so students would have to be able to make sense of the type of challenges they're going to face.
It is a test that consists of academic literacy, it consists of quantitative literacy, and then we have mathematics.
The National Benchmark Test Project's scores are highly predictive of what students will be able to do, whether they will be able to graduate in minimum time or not.
Our results are based basically not on mark system, but it's based on 3 levels. So we have the basic level, we have the intermediate level, and the proficient level. We found that if students pass the National Benchmark Test on a proficient level, then those students actually seem to do better at university.
If they're not proficient, they would be considered to be either in the intermediate category, which means they would need some kind of support. But if they are in the basic category, which is the lowest category, they would be considered to need an extensive support to be able to complete their degrees.
If the institution wants to take an important chance on particularly, let's say, admitting students from rural schools, it must be aware, in order to be responsible, of what kind of provision those students need once they come in.
CETAP also has other tests. We have the MCOM test, we have the postgraduate testing, and we have various other tests for different areas that within the universities that require them.
Each process, each aspect of the way the tests are constructed ensures that the tests are valid for the purpose it's going to be used, which is for South African higher education.
This was not a UCT development, nor even a small group of universities. The whole intention was it was national. And it happens to be that the expertise for this lies here at UCT, where we have developed it, that it is a national asset.
The vision for CETAP is really to be the nationally preferred service provider for the higher education sector in South Africa. and we're hoping that we can get access to most of the learners throughout the country.